Hello, good morning. Happy halfway through the weekday. Today is going to be a shorter stream. Only be able to go until about 6:45, 7 o'clock or so. Because today is the day. Wednesdays are the day that I have to take off early, go to work early. Actually, I go to the office. So, let's jump in. Where we left off, we're getting a 200 when we want to be getting a 204 here on delete. And this is delete in books. In author. Okay, so in delete author, I'm getting a 200 instead of a 204. Oh, right. A 200 is probably because it worked to delete the author, but there was something else wrong. So if we take a look at this, error getting books without authors after deleting author, query error returned from database. It's trying to do a join on authors, on book authors. Yeah. Missing from clause. Yes, there's no select. Huh, interesting. There's no select from. I'm attempting to use SQL to grab that information. This is, I think, in the book queries. Get books without authors. I think what we'll have to do is, instead of this find without related, we're going to have to do a raw SQL query. Because what I really want to do is do a sub query, which I'm not. Maybe we can do that. Which might be part of, I guess let's go to CRM, because that's what we're using. But I think that it might be part of, no, don't want just the image. Yeah, I want this. You might want to do something like this to be able to hand it a custom SQL. Twisted Seed, hello. How are you doing today? Yes, we're using a CORM, a Rust ORM. Use the in subquery or not in subquery methods to construct conditional expressions with subqueries. Ooh, maybe I can do this in here. So we find entity condition any add. So cake column ID in subquery. Okay, so make sure that the cake's ID is in. Then you do a subquery. query. Okay, then do a brand new query. Query select expression cake ID max from, that's okay. That's an interesting one. What are subqueries used for? Let me show you exactly what I want to do. Then I think it should become obvious. So let's make this larger. Okay, so I have a table of books, and I have a table of book authors. And we have some books over here that no longer have any authors because we've deleted the author and we don't want them to show up. So what I want to do is I want to construct a query of books that don't have authors. But of course, this is a join table, right? So it's a little bit hard to join in something that doesn't have something. So I'm going to use a subquery to figure this out. So how I would do this in just raw SQL is I would say, okay, select star from books where the ID of the book is in, and then subquery time. Then we're going to do select book ID from book authors. And this gives us, this is now a list of the books that do not have any authors. Well, actually, no, wait, this is the opposite. I did the opposite way. This is where ID is in there. No, I want not in. Not in. This is a list of the books that do not have any authors. Yeah, a query for the join query. Essentially, it's not a join at all. It's like I'm not joining the data together. I'm doing another query as part of a where statement. Which this is a great way of finding out if something is not in something else. Because otherwise, like join normally is when you're joining in something that does exist. Joining something that doesn't exist is kind of hard and is kind of not what it's meant to do. So yeah, this is what I want to do here. I want to get a list of the books that are not represented in the book authors table. So they have no authors whatsoever. So currently we did this. I don't think this worked. So let's reset this a bit. And we're gonna start over again. So okay, let our books equal to, I think we're gonna start with, looking at this, we're gonna start with the entity we're searching, right? So entity books, let's see, find. So I want to find them all. And then we're going to filter. And in filter, we're going to do this condition. Add a condition to the set. Oh, okay, so that's what that is. And they used condition any. So add a condition to the set. Create a condition that is true if any of the conditions is true. Okay. Oh, so that's what this is. So then it's also negates a condition. So I want any And then we do dot add. So add a condition to the set. And then I want, okay, so we're going to do the ID of the column is in the subquery. So okay, so is in subquery. And then we're going to do queries. Okay, then we do a manual query select. That's an extract. I want a C query. Ooh, I don't see one here. Do I have to bring in cquery? No. Okay. Here's cquery. Query. Okay, so we'll do query, then another, then a select, expression, now I want I just want the oh, and I don't want in subquery, right? I want not in subquery. Not in subquery. Select. Add an expression to the select expressions list. Okay, expression. So this is the same. Such a weird example here. It's like from cake, find, and then subquery into itself for the maximum ID. It's like the most, give me the most recent entry. Which I don't know. I don't know how interesting that is. I don't know how often I would do that. That this is easily done without using a subquery. Okay, so expression. The expression in this case is I want so I don't want an expression. Expression is like a function, right? I want so I want to do a select the column. Oh, do I have to like do tables? Huh. How do I do it by okay, select. Oh, that's why there's a from. Okay, so select this is gonna be entity book authors column book ID. from table. Okay, from cake. Okay, as from entity, book authors, entity, and then to owned. Okay, so find books where the ID is not in, select book ID from book authors. That's what I wrote originally, right? That's this. So select start from books where ID is not in. Select book ID from book authors. I think that's correct. Okay, so that gives me a select query, and then I want to do all and at the database. That gives me a vec of the entity model. So I want to into iterator map okay, convert this into and collect it. That turns into books, which it probably doesn't know what it is. And then we're going to return this as an OK. Books. It's compiling. We got a 500 this time. Error getting book by ID. Oh, 164 this time. In test book reload from API, I attempted to get the books. Error getting book by ID, missing from clause. I feel like this worked previously and I screwed up the database. I think I reversed these, right? Okay, so book authors relation authors, and this would be books. Table name book specified more than once. Okay, so we got select books.id, books.name, books.price, books.instock, authors.id, authors.name. from books, join books. Is it really a many to many? So I can have, no, it's gonna be a many to one, isn't it? One book can have multiple authors, so we should see one book in the book authors table multiple times. I feel like I've messed this up a little bit. So a book has many authors. So that's true, right? A book has many authors. I'm gonna go to the relation definition. So the way to get there, I think. Okay, I need to go refresh how this works. Okay, so we do this. We have pub enum relation. So here's the pub enum relation. CRM has many, so has many authors. So then authors. Related trait has to be implemented by hand, which I think it pretty much had to in the other section too. So impl related oh, but there's a join table here, so I think that's many to many. It's formed by 3 tables, where 2 tables are related via a junction table. As an example, a cake has many. Okay, so this is what I want. Relation in CRM is an arrow. It has from and to. Cake filling relation cake defines cake filling to cake. Calling reverse reverses it to cake filling. Chaining this with cake filling relation filling, which defines cake filling to filling, resulting in cake filling to filling. They're putting these on here. I didn't accidentally put... I put a relationship on the join table. Looking at this, I don't think I'm supposed to do that. So I think Oh, it's auto-generated. I don't remember what that looks like before. Oh, maybe you could show me. If there are no relations, simply write that. Okay, there we go. So you're happy. I think. So then we're going to go into entity authors. Okay, so an author has many books. So impl related. So for a cake is related to the filling. So an author is related to a book. Rip Rod, hello. Good morning. How are you doing today? You're making a backend in Rust. Okay, so you have an API plus a tiny admin panel for administrators. And you're wondering which of the two frameworks would you recommend? Actix Web, I assume, right? Versus Axum. I know Actix has templating out of the box, but that is it. I guess like the other questions might be what like is just for yourself only? Is this a learning project? Is this a making money with it project? Is this something you're gonna have to support for a really long time? Are you doing this like on commission or something for another person, or not you yourself? The answers might change subtly based upon those questions. So Axum is good, but it is still in beta, so it's changing a lot. So that is something to consider if this is like a real project. Actix Web hasn't changed that much and is fully released and fully supported at this time and has like actual real documentation. Axum has documentation in the form of the API docs, and that's it. There's not like a website. There's not even a logo for Axum. It's a really awesome project. I hesitate to recommend it for like a super real API at this moment. Does that help? Oh, I do need this in book authors. Oh, okay. That's what this was. Okay, so I define the relationship by say, okay, I need the project will be real, and quite big. There'll be some transactions included as well, a lot of real-time functionalities. So if it's real and big, I would probably recommend Actix Web right now. I know a lot of people really love Axum. Axum is a great project. Heck, I'm building a course on Axum. Axum is great. I'd still hesitate to recommend anything. Like, if you have the choice of a released project versus a beta project, for like you're making it for real, that's to me is like that's the limit. Like, if it's for like a personal type project, or if it's only for yourself and you're the one who's like supporting this forever, then Axum all the way. But the 0.7 update for Axum is probably going to break a lot of things, and I have no idea when that's coming out. There's a lot of talk about it, but there's a lot of talk about 0.6 when it eventually came out, and it broke a lot of things too. So back and forth. I haven't used Actix Web in a long time. It's supposedly really fast and really, like pretty good too. I haven't used it since like before 1.0, and it's changed a lot. Oh, hey, Zilby. Welcome. You facing away from us again today? Okay. Maybe I can put you over here. Okay, so I'm gonna go to get to books. So that's what it is. To get to the books, I go through book authors, relation books. So I need to go to book authors and add in a relation books, like that. And then, of course, you need def here. And so that's the reason why we need this reverse. I think I heard them say somewhere they will release 0.7 after some other crate gets a 1.0 release. It might be hyper, it might be tower. Or it might be like a combination of some other ones. Yeah, I vaguely remember that too, but I like things change, right? Like if something happens which makes it so that they don't have to do that anymore, then they might release like the next thing. But all comes back down to if you're allowed to make the technical changes for a like real project, what is your level of risk that you're willing to take on for this project? For me, I'm pretty conservative when it comes to like this type of technical risk. And so I generally only go for released technology. So if it was me, I would probably choose Actix Web. If it was me only, so like I'm the only consumer of this, like I'm not like giving this to another project. I'm okay with maintaining this. I think that's going to be fine. Then in that case, my capacity for risk goes up, because the danger of the risk like affecting something really big is not that high, and so therefore I would be more willing to use Axum. Okay, so then if it's cake, it belongs to a cake. So this is a book, so it belongs to a book. This is our own entity. Okay, so it belongs to that. And then I can go, okay, from do I get column here? I think I do. Column, book ID. And then what is it? 2? Yeah, 2. Oh, and then this one is going to be super books column ID into. And then this one, I don't do a derive relation. Okay. Then next up, authors. Okay, so I want to get 2 book authors via the original relation is cake filling to cake. After rev, it becomes cake to cake filling. So wait a second. Okay, so 2 is the final relation, is cake to cake filling to filling. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I'm trying to make a somewhat future-proof decision. Yeah, future-proof decision is going to be really tough with anything that's in beta still. Their backend part is not even that complex. That's why I wouldn't even mind using Axum that much. It's not even 1.0 yet. Okay. So if you can isolate the backend code, so that way if something bad happens, you can replace it with Axum or update it. Because I guess the concern would be a major vulnerability comes out, let's say. Okay, there's a major vulnerability in Rust, so we have to update Rust. There's a major vulnerability in the libraries. Well, the code is dynamically linked, which means that if you update the libraries on your server, the binary that you built may no longer work anymore. So you have to rebuild it. But if you rebuild it and everything is updated now, maybe you can't do that. Maybe you have to use most recent stuff. And so at that point, you then have to update to the latest version of Axum. For security reasons. That's sort of like how I've been thinking recently on that. Or I guess just how I think in general on that. Oh, Zilby, you love pointing away. But again, it goes back to your like if it's a bet, right? Like it's a gamble. If you don't think that there's going to be any kind of vulnerability in Axum that's discovered, or if you don't think there's going to be a vulnerability in this version of Rust, or the libraries aren't going to sort of update in the server that breaks Axum, then yeah, maybe they could just survive on Axum 0.6 for way longer than 0.6 exists. And then yeah, you don't have to rebuild it for years, maybe. Hopefully. This is me telling cake filling how to get back to cake. That's what it is. It's me telling cake filling, okay, hey, we can go. It's this is the two directions now, right? So we have how to get to cake filling. How to get to filling through cake filling. So hey, go to this filling from cake filling. But also I want to do via let's see. Okay, so go to cake filling cake. That's but that gives us cake filling to cake. That's reverses it and it gives us to cake. Okay, that's what it is. That's why that exists. So I want to do super cake filling. So then I want to do the exact same thing in cake filling as it were, the join table for authors. Yeah, I wish I could just say, "Hey, yeah, use the fun technology. Use the new technology that's up and coming. That is great. It's going to work out perfectly for you." But the real part makes us have to think a little bit more. So, I'm glad it can help. It I think it kind of goes into something that I used to tell students is that we have to like consider ourselves professionals at some point in time. And that means like that means a lot of different things, but one of them is it means we're doing the best, we're making the best decisions for our clients, not necessarily for ourselves. And so sometimes we don't we have to work on the technology that we don't want to work on because that's not gonna that's gonna hurt possibly our customers, the people who use this software. Okay, so then this tells me, okay, here's how I go from book authors to authors, and then I reverse it to go from authors to book authors. Okay, so get 2 books from book authors via here to book authors. That's how that works. Oh, that's such a like it makes sense now. It just has taken a while to get here. Okay, so that was this one. Now I want to go to entity books. We're going to do exactly the same thing. So I want to get 2. We have as many authors. I want to get two. I want to get two. No, this is still book authors. So I want to get two. It's related to authors. And I get there via, or I get to there. I guess let me do via first. Because like in my mind, it's like, okay, I want to get to there. I want to go from here. I'm missing the reverse. From here to book authors. So go to book authors. Relation to I'm in books, which means this should be the books in reverse. Okay. Once I'm in book authors, I want to get to authors this way. Ooh, okay. Different set of errors. Okay, so it's still part of deleting author is failing. Reloading book from API. So data, we have book is something. Authors book, okay, is that. Okay, test authors line 179. Okay, so I want to assert that API book is none. Oh, I want to assert that it's none, which means that it's something. And I'm debugging the book. Okay, let me put a label on that debug. Okay, so here's a book. Test book. And there's still a book. That's what it is. Okay. So I delete the author. And so for this, coffee drinker, hello. How are you doing today? Okay, so for delete an author, I create an author. I create a book. I associate the author with a book. I delete the author. I reload the author. And there is no, okay, so there is no more saved author because the author is gone. I then find book authors, filter by the author ID, and we verify that there are no book authors. So the book author is not in the database anymore. Awesome. Well, glad to have you here. Lurking is great. Then I take the book and I reload that from the API. It gets to this line because it does the debug. And then the API book still has this in here, which means it did not delete the book successfully. Now, in router author, so for delete author, I get books without authors. I then do a delete many, hand it the book without authors. And we get this okay, no content. So get. Delete to authors, and I got a 204. Okay, we got to a 204. So that means it passed this function just fine. So if I go to delete many, we take an eVec a book. I start creating a query where it's delete many. I then add in, okay, so let me query. Here's ebooks, I delete many. So I start creating a query. Okay, so extract an ID from one of these books. I want to add a filter to this query where the book ID is that thing. So we should actually be able to see this in here, right? Delete from books where book ID equals that and all these. So we have a bunch of books. Every time I hit test, there's more books that don't have authors. Oh, it's an and. Oh, that's not going to work. I want this to be a set, don't I? So it's where books ID is in, and then it's an array. Oh, yeah. So I don't want this to be an and. What can I do for that? Can I do something like in? Probably not. Okay, so unfortunately, I'm running out of time. It's 7 o'clock already, and it's a short stream because I have to go into work. So I have to jump off already. We didn't actually do anything. But I figured out what the problem is. So the problem, we could document this. So not only can we document this, I can just panic here And this is my documentation for myself of what to do next, because it's going to tell me loud and clear. All right, so I want to we are creating an and query where the book ID has to be many at the same time. Is there a reason I chose CRM over Diesel? So when I first did my Axum course on YouTube, I was planning on using Diesel. I opened up Diesel. I set up the I started setting it up, and after 2 hours, we were still sort of like getting through prerequisites, installing stuff, and I decided that based on the version that Diesel was at that time, it's probably not a good idea to use that for, like, especially if it was like somebody just sort of like trying to learn out and get stuff done. So because of that, I decided like, I'm not gonna choose Diesel at that moment. And for this one, I'm just going with CRM because I know it now. Like I use CRM then, I know it a little bit better. And I think that I want to take a look at SQLX, Diesel. I think both of those, I've been hearing a lot more about SQLX recently than Diesel, but I think they both come a long way since then. I would love to check out to see how far they have come. The Code Thinker, hello. You've been wanting to try SQLX, but you've never heard of CRM. Yeah, for a while, CRM was like the thing to choose in Reddit. Like if you asked like in Reddit or online, like, oh hey, what ORM should I use, or what should I use? Like, no, use CRM. It's like, it's really awesome. It seems to have fallen out of favor compared to like SQLX these days, but for the while it was the hot stuff. And that's the problem with Rust right now, right? Is like things change fast. It's like web dev. Also, good morning and hello. Okay, so this should now, if I run our tests, we should get this giant error. Let's see, failed. Do I not get a giant error? Here it is. Thread, panicked, at. That. I feel like it might be better for me to even throw like, I don't know, that's pretty obvious. SQLX is an ORM as well. I thought it was closer to, no, I don't think SQLX is an ORM. Diesel is an ORM. CORM is an ORM. Web dev is where you're coming from, so you're used to the churn. That is a good thing to have right now in Rust. I would say from my uneducated guess, because I haven't really looked at SQLX, is that SQLX is closer to like connects from JavaScript. So if you're coming from like web, and if you ever use connects, which is used behind the scenes in a lot of ORMs on the web side, I think that it's closer to that, but when we get there and I eventually look into it. So my idea for the course is I'm going to start with CORM because I know it and it works. And then I'm going to create modules for all these other little things to go with it, so you can mix and match and choose it. And like, to be honest, if I'm teaching it and somebody really wants to use SQLX, I think in the project stuff, like there's some of these that I think that they'll like for example, for this assessment they won't be able to do. They'd have to do something equivalent, like rebuild that themselves. Okay, so now if I rerun this, oh hey, things didn't work. Bam, I get this giant message out here, which makes it extremely obvious what's going on now, which is exactly what we want. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave this as it is. All right, so we're still in work in progress. Deleting authors. All right, that's pushed up. And I think we're good to go. All right, so as I mentioned, this was a short stream today, so I need to get off and go do work, go do my day job stuff. I should be back here tomorrow morning around 6 a.m. Mountain Time, and we do a full normal stream time of that, which goes till 8:45 a.m. or so. So that gives us over 2 hours to code. So we'll be hopefully finishing up the delete an author and moving on to the next tests in here. This is a pretty big assessment that's assessing basically all of CORM stuff, all at the same time. So this is the biggest one so far. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.